If you guys want the fastest way to improve your aim, get some Control Freaks for cheap. Use code Goblin for 10% off and improve your aim today. Link in the description. Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty World War II video. Now today, I was just sitting on Twitter and about 10-15 minutes ago, Michael Condrey just tweeted that they are coming out with a patch, and he pretty much tweeted the patch notes, which is such a weird way on a Wednesday night, I think it is, to release this stuff. Anyway, it prompted a video for me. I want to keep you guys up to date. And, you know, you're not going to find someone that makes the video 10 minutes right after the patch comes out. So that's why it might be a late night upload for you guys. If you can drop a like on this thing, that would be awesome. I'd appreciate that. Let's go for 37 likes. If you guys could all drop a like, that would be awesome. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. And let's talk about this tweet, what it says, what patches we're going to be expecting. And of course, he didn't tweet the whole patch notes because you only have, what is it, 280 characters? 100, I think it was 140, and now they doubled it on Twitter, so you have 280. But he tweeted pretty much all of the big gun changes, which is what we care about, the balance changes, right? There's probably going to be a crap load of bug fixes and stuff that come along with this, but this is some pretty interesting info. So he tweeted out saying, wishing you guys a Merry Cod World War II, good night, and a few things for under your tree tomorrow, which is obviously a Christmas reference. It's not Christmas tomorrow, but hey, I guess that's what we're getting the update. So the first thing is a fire rate buff for the MP40 and the Thompson, which is the M1928 SMG. It's interesting that he calls it the Thompson in this message, which, you know, when the technical name is the M1928. I don't know why they didn't just call it the Thompson in the game, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, a fire rate buff. Now, this is huge because the MP40 definitely is a weaker version of most of the SMGs. So the fire rate buff maybe will make this MP40 a gun that has pretty much little recoil. Maybe it'll make it an SMG that can contend with the other ones. But the more thing that I'm interested in here, the most important thing, is a fire rate buff to the Thompson. The Thompson was already the second fastest firing SMG. Of course, the fastest was the Ww2 which has a 1,000 rounds per minute. I think the Thompson was around 850 or something like that. I made a video comparing the two if you guys want to go check that out. But with these fire rate buffs, this means that this Thompson, or aka the M1928, might actually become one of the best SMGs in this game, because while the Ww2 has an insane fire rate, the recoil on that gun is not just insane, but inconsistent. There's a big difference between insane recoil that always goes in the same pattern. There's ways to combat that. Grip, learning how to pull against the recoil. I just made a video the other day on how to control recoil and how to have no recoil in your guns in World War II. If you practice, you know, pulling against the recoil pattern of the gun. But for the Thompson, even though the fire rate is a little bit slower on that one compared to the Ww2, that gun definitely doesn't have as much recoil, and it's pretty much mostly vertical. So it's hard to hit people who are laying down on the ground because of that vertical recoil. But when targets are standing up or crouching, that gun is very good. And with this fire rate buff, it probably isn't going to take it to a faster fire rate than the Ww2, but this definitely will be huge, and I'm really interested in testing out that Thompson. And of course, all these changes look like they're going to come out at some point tomorrow, because he tweeted out a few things for under your tree tomorrow. So he's essentially saying this is the patch update they prepare, should be coming out tomorrow, and then we'll have the full patch notes. Next thing is the Fg42, one of the best assault rifles in this game. Fire rate nerf and recoil adjustment. Now, a lot of the pro players were celebrating this because this is the gun that gets spammed, and especially, you know, pro SMG players, you know, Optic Scum and them, they really hate this weapon because it melts people in 3 bullets pretty much every time. Fire rate nerf means it's going to fire slower, most likely, you know, obviously, and that's weird because the Fg42 already has such a slow fire rate. Of course, that is to balance it out with that 3-shot kill. With this fire rate nerf, this might kill this gun. I feel like this might be the end of the Fg42, at least as we know it, and the bar might go back to, you know, I still think the bar is probably the best AR, as well as the M1941. After this update, I'm pretty sure that is going to be even more prevalent, and recoil adjustment to the Fg42. So now that means this gun's going to have recoil, it's going to fire slower, and it's pretty much going to perform like an LMG, it seems like, after this. Of course, you won't run as slow as an LMG. But it looks like a lot of different changes coming to that FG42. Definitely very interesting, and I want to hear what you guys think about that in the comment section down below. Do I think this is good for the game? Most likely overall, and most likely that change was targeted towards professional play or competitive Call of Duty play. And I think that the bar is really going to go back to its prevalent spot, because they've kind of ignored the bar as of recent after hitting it with those big two, I think it was it 2 or 3? I think it was 2 nerfs at the start of the game. Next change here is really awesome for pretty much all players. Class-wide LMG movement speed buff plus recoil buffs on the MG15 and the Lewis. So those weapons should have less recoil. I'm assuming that's what it means by recoil buff. Lewis already had pretty much no recoil, so this is huge for that. MG15, I'm not too familiar with that weapon. It's probably my least used one of the LMGs, but the class-wide LMG movement speed buff is huge, because that's what holds back LMGs pretty much in every Call of Duty game. The one exception to that being Infinite Warfare, where you could run man-at-arms and run at full speed with an LMG, which I thought was a really dope attribute, or trait, or whatever they called in that game. I thought that was really cool and really fun. And obviously now they're going to be buffing the LMG movement speeds, so it probably won't be as fast as assault rifles, or of course not as fast as SMGs, but it'll probably be a little more usable, and you won't feel so damn slow while using these LMGs. Because one thing with the LMGs before is I would run like energetic sometimes, because I was tired of running so slow. Energetic would allow me, you know, you'd still move slow, but every time you would stop sprinting, you would refresh into another sprint faster. So overall, it would improve your time to move around the map. I definitely think these changes are good. Next is for the Winchester damage range buffs. Now, I know a lot of people are going to hate on this. I do think that the shotguns and stuff, you know, especially I think the shotguns and the snipers in this game still need a lot of balancing changes happening to them. But the Winchester damage range buffs, this is one that a lot of people, if you use that weapon, you're going to be very excited about. And if you don't, you're going to be cursing at your screen about this one. Of course, that is one change that came out to that one. Next one he tweeted out is the M712 damage nerf. Now, when I saw that, I was like, M712, what the heck is that? Luckily, there's this thing called Google. I typed it in. The M712 is the machine pistol in Call of Duty World War II. So they're going to be nerfing that. I thought they already did some nerfs to that gun. I guess they're hitting it again with more nerfs because of how damn strong it is. Of course, the main thing about that weapon is you're so damn mobile, especially if you have infantry division on or the scoped basic training. The way you move side to side with that machine pistol is deadly, but that's not what they hit it with. They hit it with a damage nerf. So essentially, probably what I can assume from this, of course, we don't have the official statistics until people test it out, but I just assume that this means that at longer ranges or a medium range, it's going to do less damage, and it's going to fulfill its more purposeful use, which is, of course, to be used at close range. That's what the machine pistol was made for. You get into problems with these secondaries when they start becoming better than certain primaries in the game. And even if this damage nerf is noticeable at close range, I don't think it's a big deal, because the P08 is a deadly, is a really deadly pistol, especially in hardcore. People like use that gun more than the primary in hardcore, and I use the P08 even in core modes. I mean, I prefer the machine pistol with extended mags, but the P08 with extended mags also, if you have any sort of a trigger finger, honestly could even be better than the machine pistol if you're good with your trigger finger. And if not, it's still not hard to hit, you know, whatever 2 shots it takes, or 3 at range, I think it is, or to be able to learn to use that. So these are the updates we're going to be getting, the gun buffs and nerfs. Overall, do I think this patch is going to be good for the game? Yes, and that's good. They're on the right track. I don't think they're done with the balancing changes, but it's nice to see. I did not expect this patch to be coming out tomorrow. I did not expect any sort of patch, but I'm guessing this will, you know, take place sometime during the early morning tomorrow. Usually around 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is when it's activated. Sometimes it's activated later in the day. I'm sure we'll get official patch notes, and if there's anything, you know, else or anything cool to add, I will make a video on that, as well as the main thing I'm going to do when this patch update comes out is I'm going to play with that FG42, because I've just gotten into that weapon. I kind of missed out on the prime of that weapon. Same with the bar. It seems like that always happens to me. When I start getting into a weapon and start loving that weapon, that's when they hit the damn gun with the nerfs. I don't know why that is. Are they watching my account? No, I'm just joking. They're definitely not. Just it's a coincidence, because of course when everyone's talking about a weapon being overpowered, that's when you start to use it and start to get into it, and that's when they're hearing about it also, and you know, checking the statistics and seeing this needs a nerf. So I'm definitely interested in checking the FG42. I'm guessing these changes should make it pretty bad, or not pretty bad, but it probably won't be able to compete with the other assault rifles like the STG, the BAR, and the M1941. And I'm also interested in the fire rate buff for the MP40 and more specifically the Thompson. So I'm going to be playing with those a lot once this patch update comes out. And then I'll probably make some update videos, talk about what changed. You know, sometimes there's some insane changes. You know, we never know. Maybe the Thompson becomes the best SMG. It's possible. It's plausible. You actually have to test out. You can't really tell everything from the patch notes. You have to test out, play with these weapons, and actually see how they feel, because we don't know the exact statistics by what they're tweeting out. We just know that these are the changes that are coming, and whether they're positive or negative. We don't know the vast majority of how big the scale will be on each one. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys could drop a like, I'd appreciate that. Subscribe if you guys are new, smack that like button, and sub for Cookie and Don't Looky, and I'm out. Peace.